Welcome to the Pulse USA, where we provide insight, knowledge, and education on local businesses across the U.S.
Hello, and thank you for coming on to another exciting episode of the Pulse USA. Today we have a special guest, Midge VanDalinda from LoanDepot in Morristown, New Jersey. Midge, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Midge, I know you offer a lot of different types of loans at LoanDepot. Why don't you give us a high-level overview of the various loans that you offer?
Well, we offer a whole suite of financing products, starting with first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, renovation loans, refinances, first responder loans, VA loans. We do it all.
That's terrific. And reverse mortgages. Do you do reverse mortgages?
Yes,
Excellent.
we do.
You know, with the real estate the way it is today, I know there's a shortage of homes right now. What does it take for a person to get pre-qualified for a loan if they need a loan approval or a mortgage approval letter?
The process is pretty simple. We need to have a conversation. I need to understand their financial situation, income, assets, credit, debt, just kind of the whole picture, if you will, so that we understand their affordability and we can determine what they're comfortable with from a payment perspective. Sometimes it's more than they think, sometimes it's less than they think. So it's important to, have somebody have a conversation with a mortgage professional and understand what their affordability looks like and get a pre-approval before they even start looking.
Absolutely. And just approximately how long does that process take from start to finish for an approval letter?
I can have a conversation with somebody and in about 30 minutes issue a pre-approval if they're qualified.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea. I thought it was like a couple days. I didn't know it was that quick. That's
No,
terrific.
it can be that fast.
Okay. All right. So with first mortgages today, young couples going out to buy a home, what are they actually looking at with regards to, getting prepared for this?
What are the buyers looking at as far as getting prepared?
Yes. What are the buyers looking at? In other words, the young couples getting ready to go. The first thing they go is they want to know what the interest rate is going to be, correct? And then
Generally
what do
one
they?
of the first questions.
It's always the case. But that said, what is that process then? Because they're going to have to get a pre-approval letter. And then what's the next step of getting the mortgage for the property?
So it all starts with the pre-approval. That's where they should begin before they even start looking at homes, so that they know exactly what price range they should be looking in. So the first step is the pre-approval. Then they can go out and they can shop. They can, go out and start looking at properties. The next step after that is to find a home, make an offer, and have an offer accepted. Once the offer is accepted, and we make sure, we secure the financing by putting it through underwriting, having the property appraised, and then having title work done and sending them off to closing.
Okay. And that process usually takes approximately how long?
I mean, we can do it in as little as 2 weeks if we have to. I would say on
Wow.
average, it's probably a 30-day process. Most sellers aren't interested in a 60-day closing anymore. Most people are looking to move a lot more quickly.
What is the average that you see today?
30 to 45 days, I would say, is the average.
Okay, terrific. And do you handle with your first mortgages, do you handle all types of credit?
There are ranges. I mean, credit is important, and your credit score is one of the most important parts of the pre-approval process. But there are programs for people that don't have the top tier credit scores. So, it doesn't, I would say you need to talk to a mortgage professional and determine where you are in your credit journey or your pre-approval journey. You might have to do a little bit of credit repair to get to a place where you're ready to move forward.
Gotcha. Now, you said that you did refinances, correct? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With a refi, one question that I hear a lot of is when people bought homes recently in the 7%, mortgage rates, and now they've just dropped again. Where is the happy medium where you should refinance again, where you're actually saving money compared to the cost of the refi?
I mean, It depends on how long you've had the mortgage. If it's only been a couple of months, it makes sense to, do it right away. The costs can be absorbed. We can get away with very minimal closing costs when it comes to a refinance. But if the savings is significant enough for the homeowner, then it could make sense for them to refinance, even if it's just a half a point difference in the interest rate. It's really hard to say because it depends on the size of the mortgage, and half a point on $500,000 is a lot more than a half a point on $150,000. So
Understood.
everything, you really have to look at each scenario to determine when it makes sense.
I can see that, but I thought there was a sliding scale that you could just read off of, but I guess that's not the case.
Not really.
Okay. So you also mentioned that you do VA loans. Is there a
Yes.
special program for veterans?
Yeah. So VA loans are my favorite by far. I love doing anything that I can to give back to someone that's given so much to my country and me. Like I really appreciate the sacrifice that our veterans have made for us. So VA loans have ridiculously great rates. I mean, their rates are fantastic. If they are qualified and they have earned this benefit, they could qualify to purchase a home with no money down and no
Wow.
mortgage insurance. So 100% financing and no mortgage insurance. It's just, I love it. I'll write them all day, every day.
I would too. I think that's a great program. Now, is that the same program for first responders or is that a little different?
It's a little different. So if the first responder happens to be a veteran, we look at which program makes the most sense for them. But the state of New Jersey, well, it's not the state of New Jersey, it's the police and firefighters have a special pension through the state of New Jersey, and they have their own special mortgage program through their pension, and we offer that, and that's at a reduced interest rate, but it's through their pension. It's only for paid police officers and paid firefighters who pay into the police and firefighter retirement system pension.
Okay.
It's a little
Interesting.
complicated.
It is. Look, if they take advantage of that, they're going to save a lot of money.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line. Oh, well, you
Oh,
said
another
you
one of
did a
my
renovation
favorites.
loan. Give us a little overview on a renovation loan.
So a renovation loan is pretty neat. It gives a buyer the ability to purchase a home in pretty much any condition and finance the cost of the improvements. We'll do our appraisal and our evaluation based on what the home is going to be worth when the work is done. So the current value of the property really isn't important. It's a pretty cool program because you can buy a house in any condition without any utilities, with no hot water, without a roof. It could be damaged from a fire. Really take a house in any condition and use renovation financing to customize it and make it your own. And it's kind of like HGTV of
Yeah.
financing.
How long has that been available?
Oh my gosh, 40 years. It's been around
Holy
for a
smoke.
very long time.
I was never aware of that. Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
been a long, long time. And it's another one of those programs that people just don't know about. It's, there are a couple extra steps involved, and sometimes it's just one of those things that I think people don't want to take the time to understand and learn how to do them, so they get swept under the rug and pushed into a different type of product. But no, it's a really cool opportunity to buy a really crummy house on a really great street and get a decent deal, and then customize it to your taste instead of a contractor that buys it, fixes it up, and then flips it. They all look the same. They're all that white and gray, which is beautiful, but you want to customize it to your own taste, and that's what renovation financing does. It's
So
also available
technically,
for people that own their homes who want to renovate an existing home, put an addition on a house, moving their parents in and need to create some more space. Their possibilities are endless.
yeah, I was going to say, wow, what an impressive program that is. I had no idea. Okay. So now,
We
if
could do a
someone
whole
wants,
podcast on just that.
well, we might be doing that in the near future, just so you know. So if someone wants to get in touch with you for either a mortgage analysis or questions on the mortgage or a pre-approval letter for that matter, how do they get in touch with you?
They can email me, mvandalinda at loandepot.com, or they can call me at 973-202-0992.
Excellent. Midge, I want to thank you very much for coming on the Pulse podcast. You were a great guest and you brought a wealth of knowledge about mortgages. And I'm going to have you on again in the near future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce.